saw a tweet earlier that asked, what would our big surprise be today? And, well, here we are with our big surprise. For the past year, we've been watching all of our clients and others in the industry trying to figure out how to build relationships in this RTB world. Now, I don't mean Match.com relationships, although certainly many people are trying to build those online. What I really mean is, how do we connect the major players on the buy side and the sell side of the ecosystem in ways that are really accretive to both sides? We've seen industry solutions try to kludge together some way of connecting buyers and sellers across these new RTB protocols, and we've also seen these protocols fail on multiple levels. Fail because they don't work technologically, they don't work from a human perspective, and the truth is they don't really allow our partners to create the kind of relationships that have been done in the real world, in the real industry, for almost 20 years. And we're talking about the ability for publishers and sell-side players to leverage their data, their audience, their heft, in a way that protects prices, protects yield, protects channels, and most importantly, protects the most valuable asset, which is their data. And for buyers, it allows transparency, allows the ability to negotiate better rates for clients, the ability to actually get the kind of visibility that we need, again, without compromising the basis of our businesses. And this has been something of a holy grail for the past 10 years, or 8 years of the exchange market, and we've been very unsatisfied with every attempt the industry has made to try to put a solution together. So today, we're thrilled to announce to you that we think we have at least the beginnings of a solution to this problem. It's a project we've been working on for quite a while. We've codenamed it Tango, because it takes two to tango, a buyer and a seller. And this is something that we built not based on laboratory ideas. We don't have laboratories, but based on conversations we've had with many of you here in Europe over the past 9 months. We took many trips to Germany and France especially to learn about the markets there and how, as I mentioned in my opening, the evolution of RTB was taking a different course than it did in the US and the UK. And based on those conversations, we tried to build a solution that reflects how business is being done today and your aspirations for how business could be done in the future. So here to talk about Project Tango is my little sister, Suzanne O'Kelly.
Okay. Hi, everybody. I'm Suzanne, and I'm excited to talk to you today about a new project that we're working on that Brian announced, which is aiming to enable the benefits that you have in your offline partnerships into the RTB environment. So I think that RTB today is kind of like this couple on the screen. So they're enjoying the experience of a new piece of technology. I guess in this case, it's like a mobile living room of some sort. They're both using the same technology, and they might even be on the same platform, but it seems like they don't really know how to interact with each other in a great way, right? So we think that there's a better way to do this, and we're excited to be introducing some new tools to help partners interact through RTB so that they don't end up like these guys. So we think it's important. We've heard a lot of talk today about the limitations of technology in terms of seeing the bigger picture and really understanding some of the relationships and the context and the meaning that we know exists between partners. A computer can see individual pixels. It can see granular insights about very specific pieces of information, like impressions. But it can't put it all together and see the meaning of something as iconic as this image of the Beatles album cover. So what we'd like to do is we'd like to introduce functionality that lets people layer on information about their relationships in a way that lets RTB decisions take into account whether an impression is coming from somebody who you know and trust versus somebody that you've never met. So how do we add the human touch to the RTB environment? There's a lot of benefits of relationships. There's a lot of ways to bring benefits of relationships into commerce. For example, rewards for loyalty. So airlines do a really great job today of setting up rewards in exchange for customer loyalty. Things like frequent flyer miles. If you hit a certain tier of miles, you get new benefits. Or even if you're not that loyal, if you have a huge amount of money and you can afford to fly first class, you'll be treated like royalty. And that's something that we want to enable our customers to do for their clients. We want them to be able to treat their clients well and treat them differently based on their partnerships. We also think it's important to incentivize efficiency. And this is something that we see today when we look at wholesale versus retail, right? Wholesale is much more efficient for a seller because they can package things in huge quantities and they can move a lot of product at once. And they often offer these wholesale products at a discount versus unit by unit, right? So here, if we talk about cat food, we've got, some guy has like 10 cats and, he has to buy like 100 cans of cat food a week, right? So does the guy want to go pick out, like clear out the entire shelf and like get every single can of cat food that the store has? The poor cashier then has to scan every cat food individually. Or is it better to kind of just grab a carton, get all of your cat food in one place, and maybe it's a little bit cheaper because it's more efficient for both parties to buy that way. So in our minds, like the existing deal functionality is kind of like buying cat food one can at a time. So you have to negotiate each deal individually for every single campaign. You're buying these things one at a time. And there's an incentive to do this because it's the only way today to really have these partnerships and get benefits from relationships. And it's just not efficient. So let's switch things around. Let's start rewarding efficiency instead of settling for what's available today. So as you've seen today, we have spent a lot of time in Europe. We really feel like we've learned a lot about how the markets operate here. And one of the things we've learned is that you guys really, really value your partnerships. You know each other. These markets are very closely aligned and very tight-knit. And you've worked together. Many of you have worked together for years. And you're doing a lot of things to try to bring those benefits of those partnerships into the online sort of RTB environment. But we've heard a lot of problems with the existing solutions. And so what we're here to do is to plant the seeds of this new partnership RTB technology in Europe, where we think it's going to really take off, and we're going to have true marketplaces of close partners who can transact efficiently. So some of the things we've been hearing that aren't being solved today. Partnerships should be creating real value. So if you're doing really granular deals, you're looking at the performance on a campaign-by-campaign basis. It's really hard to step back and see, are you actually adding additional value through all of those granular one-off deals? Or are they really just adding up to more overhead and the same or even decreased performance if you factor in the cost of actually managing all of those different deals? We think that you should be able to see at a glance the value that your partnerships are creating, and you should be able to make decisions about how to proceed based on that value. In addition, partnerships should be transparent. So one of the things that we hear a lot is that some platforms don't even tell you who you're dealing with at a given moment. So you end up dealing with a technology platform rather than the partners that you have behind those platforms. And this is not a reflection of how you guys do business. You want to deal with the partner themselves, regardless of the technology they're working on. Once you have that transparency and you can see who's on the other side of a transaction, then you can start layering on other benefits and other transparency, like pricing, like increased targeting access, and other benefits that we know that you're asking for. And finally, partnerships should just work. So probably the biggest problem with the existing sort of functionality that's out there is it's really difficult. We hear that, it's kind of a surprise if you set up a deal and it works on the first go-round, because it's, you're dealing with these interoperability problems. You're making sure, did you set this up? Did we agree on the same thing? Is it turned on? What's going on? There's a lot of troubleshooting involved. It should just be something that you can set up and kind of forget about, because you're doing these deals with your partners. Usually it's at a relatively high level. It might be on an annual basis even. So this is not something that you should have to go in and manage on a granular level unless something changes and you want to do that. Obviously, partnerships should scale. like back to the cat food example, you should be able to kind of get the benefits at a broad level, still have access to all the cans of cat food, but you shouldn't have to be dealing with each one individually. We think that's really important. And finally, working across platforms is something that we've heard again and again. It's obviously a problem across all of our platforms, but your partnerships are spanning platforms, and our technology should reflect that. So with that said, I'd love to give you a quick sort of look into what we've been developing on our end with our sort of codenamed project Tango. So as I mentioned, the first step is to sort of see who you're dealing with and understand how your partnerships are delivering over time, right? So on this screen, you can log in, say I'm a seller. These are all imaginary buyers. I can see who I'm working with, where my preferred deals are, and how things are performing over time. With a click, it's easy to drill into a certain partner. Let's say maybe I'm Fred at a big seller, and I manage a partnership with a buyer. And this buyer has been asking me for some new benefits, some exposure of a new category. And so at a glance, I can see all of the history of our relationship, what's set up today. I can evaluate, wow, she's been a really good partner for me. She's spending exactly what she said she would. And I feel really good about opening up even more targeting access to her to continue to grow the relationship. So I can go ahead and set up a proposal. It's a simple workflow. Just add a new row to say, let's add that finance category. Let's set a floor price on it that we agreed upon. I can check in on my conversation on the side and make sure I'm doing what we discussed. When I'm ready, I can send that proposal off, and it'll appear for Veronique. So this is Veronique's view of the proposal. It's her job to sort of review what's here, accept, or perhaps decline if the proposal wasn't what she expected. She can, again, validate it with what they agreed upon. And when she's ready, she can hit go, and it's just going to work. So the benefits of these partnerships are going to propagate across every buy, every impression. These are not granular one-off deals. These are changing your relationships fundamentally. So you can see, if you're a console user, we're going to be propagating information about your partnerships throughout the interface. This is not just going to be somewhere off in a corner, right? So you can see we've now got the finance category exposed. We know how much it's going to cost. So as an ad ops person, I might not be doing these high-level deals, but I still know, I'm still getting the benefits of those deals, and I still know how to interact with that information. So in conclusion, you are going to be able to evaluate the impact of your partnerships over time through this tool. My monthly trend, I come back 2 months after I made this deal with Veronique, and I can see that 2 months ago, there's a green line. It shows me this is when the partnership changed, and the new spend goal that I set with her has been set. And I can see that she increased her spend, she ramped up, and she's now hitting the new target. And I think that probably means that that this inventory is performing well for her as well, or she wouldn't be increasing her spend in RTB. So that's a high-level overview of what we've been working on. And we're hearing, we've shared this with a lot of our customers in Europe already, and we're getting really great feedback from them about the ideas and the functionality. It's mapping really well to what people are hoping to do. So the next steps moving forward, we are preparing to Tango with everyone in Europe, but we're starting small. We want to make sure that we're creating true marketplaces and really understanding each market individually. So we've chosen a couple of key markets that we're going to be rolling this out to actually in the next couple of weeks to select partners who will be giving us feedback, we'll be iterating, and we're looking forward to the opportunity to roll this out to everyone over the coming months. So I hope that you've enjoyed this demonstration of Tango. Looking forward to providing you with the benefits of your partnerships in the RTV environment. Thank you.